Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, nabiyyina Muhammadi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our Fiqh Hour. As always, near enough close to the hour. Takes a little bit while just to set everything up. But we are here, alhamdulillah. And as I was just mentioning to my daughter literally 10 minutes ago, I think we're now sort of like 50 odd session now, mashallah. I know we had a couple of days absent here and there. So around 50 odd sessions we've had now, alhamdulillah. And we are about still a few weeks away from Ramadan. So let's keep it going. As I've mentioned to you previously, please do share the content so that more people can benefit. Anyway, we already have a question which has come up on our YouTube. So before I jump onto the Markaz al-Ifta wal Qadha questions, I will take this question here. So Assalamu alaikum. Is extended warranty and insurance the same thing? Is there a difference of opinion about the permissibility of getting an extended warranty at the time of buying? Excellent question. No, extended warranty and insurance are not the same thing. So insurance is usually by a third party, but it can be arranged by the person that you are buying it from. But it's usually a third party because insurance is a financial product, and therefore a person who sells laptops, or a company that sells mobile phones, or a company that sells printers, or a company that sells cars is not in the financial product world. So they tend not to offer you insurance. What they will do, obviously, is they will have a third party that will be a financial institute, and that third party will offer you insurance, but you will go through the manufacturers that you're buying your item from. Extended warranty would mean that you give an extra bit of money to the manufacturers, and what the manufacturers will do is say that over the next 2 years or 3 years, if there's any damage that's done to your product, we will take responsibility and we will repair it. Obviously, there will be terms and conditions in there. When that extended warranty is bought at the same time as the product is bought, as in collectively, so you get the extended warranty and the product and you pay £5,000, then it is fine. But if you buy the product and then you buy the extended warranty separately, problem is now is what are you actually buying? Because we remember we had this long conversation a few days ago, maybe a week ago, when we were talking about cryptocurrency, about something being tangible, something being something you can grasp. Okay, now that's where extended warranty becomes slightly problematic. So therefore, if you purchase extended warranty with the product as one purchase, then there is permissibility or scope of permissibility. If, however, you buy as a separate item after you've bought the product, then this has to be avoided. And insurance, obviously, we've already had lengthy conversations about insurance, about how, unfortunately, because of the majority of the mechanisms that are used in insurance are impermissible, because they are riba based, or there is gharar, or there is khiyana, or something like, or a little bit of qimar. So based on all those reasons, high street box standard insurance is impermissible, even though the concept of insurance is fine, as long as you can find a Shari'i compliant mechanism to, or financial institute that can arrange it. Assalamu alaikum. Is it true? It's true, or it must be, is it true that a person is punished stroke uncomfortable in their grave if the inheritance is not properly divided stroke inheritors are squabbling for a long period of time? Yes, it is the responsibility of the person who is about to die, or even it doesn't have to be about to die. A person should have a will, and he does not make the will. Okay, he does not make the will, and because he does not make the will, there is squabbling. He doesn't write anything. He does not say that please distribute my wealth according to the Sharia, and the third of my wealth please give to this waqf, or this sadaqah jari, or this sadaqah, or whatever. He doesn't do that, and then he dies. Now what happens, obviously, is the children now are saying, okay, what do we do with this money? There's the house, there's the car, there's some gold, there's some land in Ghana, there's cash, there's some money in the bank account. What do we do with all of this? And it's usually possession becomes 9/10 of the law. So that child that has the item in their possession takes it, does ghasab of it, it disappears. So what happens then is all those items disappear, and that person, who and whoever's got the access to it now, obviously you have this problem: is how do you now, the other children will start to say, well, it's not fair. Why is it that this person has got everything? Just because they had access to it, and then the squabbling fight starts and it gets more serious, and obviously fighting starts, relationships break down, it gets serious. In other countries it can go to even murders and deaths and things like that. In more kind of more controlled environments, it will go to court, and then obviously there will be people being sued and countersued, and it just turns into a huge palaver, just turns up into a huge issue, which now occupies the minds of people for the next 20, 30 years, when it could have been so easier that the mother or the father, which is usually the mother or the father who's passing away, they could have made it so clear, write it in their will: I want my estate to be divided according to the Sharia, and the third of my wealth, which I have wasiya on, I want it to be used in this case. Okay, and that's the best way to arrange it. That's the best way to go about doing it. But unfortunately, we just leave things to the last minute, and then these problems arise. So yes, if a person does not do that, is well aware of the Sharia, is reminded of the Sharia, is not ignorant of it. Ignorance is another thing, that if he was ignorant of it, then he just carries the sin of ignorance. But he's aware of it, he's been reminded, he's been told, and yet he still chooses not to apply that within his will, or leave those instructions behind, then yes, he has committed a sin. Because like the wealth, like there are conditions to how he can earn wealth whilst he's alive, and like there are conditions to how he can spend his wealth while he's alive, then similarly there are conditions of what he should do with his wealth when he dies, and where it should go. So that absolutely applies. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I thought I see your Bakuban. I'm not sure what your name is. Bakar, maybe. So I hope that clarifies that question, inshallah. So it seems we have done that. So if there's nothing coming up immediately, then I can jump onto the Markaz al-Ifta wal-Qada. So allow me to do that, inshallah. Okay, so let's go to the Markaz al-Ifta wal-Qada. Assalamu alaikum. Would it be valid and halal as a Hanafi to follow the Shafi time of Isha, which is about 12 degrees as far as I understand, also when praying with wife at home? So when it comes to looking at the various positions of when Isha is valid or when Isha is not, then we have to see what the research tells us. So there are, in certain times of the year, particularly around the summer period, before Mafqud al-Isha, when Isha disappears altogether, and just after, when Isha reappears, when Isha time is extremely late, or it is non-existent. So there are numerous methods that the fuqaha have stipulated that we can adopt in those circumstances. Some of them may be around that particular time. However, when it comes to, this time of year, then this time of year, obviously, never mind praying according to 15 degrees, one can easily and more comfortably pray according to 18 degrees. There's no issue whatsoever, because Isha time will literally be starting right now here in Bradford, and that's on 18 degrees, and it's only 7:15 here in the UK. So it's not a problem for anybody to pray at this particular time. But like I said, coming up to summer, kind of May time, and just before May, and on the other side, sort of October time, is when Isha is extremely late. So then we need a solution for those people who are going to struggle. Similarly, when Isha does not come in at all, which is, I think, middle of May to, I don't know, sometime in September, then obviously there's also a way around there as well, inshallah. So I'm not sure which particular time of the year that you're referring to, but I hope that makes sense. Okay, I didn't turn the volume down on my phone, so I'm not. So, like I said, it's now Isha time here in Bradford. On that. Okay, I'll take a question on YouTube before I jump back. Can I marry someone? I think this is, can a woman marry after finishing her iddah? The man has only said divorce once. Yes, once a woman has been divorced and she has completed her iddah, now she can marry whom she chooses. The only time where she cannot marry anyone is during her iddah. And if obviously the man has given her a sarih talaq, sarih means he's used explicit words. If a man has given his wife talaq using explicit words, then he can take her back, whether she chooses to be taken back or not, during the iddah. As soon as the iddah is over, that's it. The only way the woman can get back with that man is a nikah, and she can perform nikah with any other man. So if she's not happy with returning into marriage with him, then absolutely her iddah is over. It's completely halal for her to now choose to marry whomsoever she chooses, and she may get married. Assalamu alaikum. A few days back, you mentioned a woman was hitting a tambourine when the Prophet walked into a room. Why did she of this? No, this was a slave woman was playing a drum. Okay, a one-sided drum. Remember, and even the tambourines are the bits without the kind of clappy bits, all on the edges. It's just one-sided skin that's stretched over. Okay, I know I used the word tambourine, but I was trying to give in your head the impression of the item, but it doesn't have those little kind of metal bits which clap together when you hit a tambourine all the way along. It doesn't have that. It's just the skin or stretched over this circular piece of wood frame. So she is playing on this drum, one-sided drum, quite a tall drum, and not that tall, but sort of so high. This was whilst the Prophet ﷺ is already there, and then other Sahabis walk in. But when Sayyidina Umar walks in, then she ceases to do that. Then there's the other occasion, obviously, when there's young girls sat with Aisha radiallahu anha, and they're hitting on again this one-sided skin stretched over a wooden frame, a circular wooden frame. And when Sayyidina Abu Bakr walks in, he has an issue with it. Okay, but is there a question? Is there a question here? If there is, I've not got the full question. All it says is do this. Sorry, so I don't know where the question is. So if you can just put that question in. Does your company help make a will for people living in other parts of Europe, example Holland, but they possess British nationality? Yes, that can be arranged, as long as they want to apply UK law, because obviously we have the legal expertise in UK. So the lawyers that we have are UK based. They're not Dutch lawyers. So if she wants, if whoever the person is wants it written with UK law in consideration, then yes, absolutely. All you need to do is go to our website and fill out the necessary details, and then somebody from the office, inshallah, will get in touch with you. Is it permissible to recite the Quran on behalf of someone who has died so they may get the reward? Yeah, in essence, you're not reciting on behalf of somebody. What you are doing is what is referred to as isale thawab. You are transferring the reward of something onto somebody else. So you are doing the recitation yourself. You are reciting the Quran, and all you are saying is, oh Allah, the reward that I get for reciting the Quran, place it into the good deeds of so and so. And that person can be alive or that person can be dead. And you can transfer that. That's absolutely fine. This is the concept of isale thawab, the transfer of reward. So whilst we get more questions coming up on the YouTube, and I will take the next question, which is on Markaz al-Ifta wal Qada, the Telegram Dar al-Ifta that we have. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hope you are well, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, I am good. I wanted to know if working for organizations that do unethical things is acceptable and halal. Example, some governments around the world may engage in unethical practices. If someone joins a department that does work which includes both good things but also bad things, would it be permissible to work in such a department if your work isn't something that is in IT and not directly related to the bad things, but maybe related secondarily? Example, hypothetical department tasks its department to create an application to manage and identify people. Then the organization or the government uses such an application to negatively target immigrants. This is just an example, but this is how an engineer's worker's work may relate to the unethical stuff indirectly. He may just work on a small piece of the application, not knowing its full or intended use. Would such a job be halal? Sorry if the question is a bit too long. It would be absolutely fine for such a person who's working on a small bit of a project, which is then making this particular program, which then governments are using to, for example, in this hypothetical case, to track or target immigrants in order to find them and then expel them out of the country. So yes, that would be absolutely fine. Because your task is not the bit where it's being used unethically. So it's a bit like a mobile phone. It's a bit like a laptop. It's a bit like a knife. It's a bit like a gun. A lot of these things that people make, they can be used in a bad way. A knife can be used in a bad way. It could be used to stab somebody or kill somebody. There are certain knives, obviously, like they use, I think they call them zombie knives and these other type of knives, big machetes, which no one's going to be chopping their onions up in their kitchen using them. They are predominantly used in an aggressive way. Whereas you're making a program which identifies people, say, or one aspect of the program, which then is joined by other engineers who then eventually make this program that does it, then it's absolutely fine, because you have to look at the specific task that you are doing. And is that specific task permissible? And if that specific task is permissible, then it is fine. This is the Hanafi school's position. The other schools' position are somewhat more reluctant to accept that. And they say that if your work, not secondly, but directly helps or supports somebody do wrong, then you should also avoid that. So, for example, if, say, you are a plumber and you get called to a nightclub and the nightclub can't open because its boilers have gone down, and you get a phone call to go fix the boiler in this nightclub. So you go in and you know that if you don't fix that boiler, then the nightclub's not going to be open tonight. Yes, somebody else could fix it, but you don't have to fix it. But if you fix it, then there's a good chance that nightclub is going to be on tonight. And if it's on tonight, there's going to be people drinking. There's going to be people committing zina. There's going to be people listening to exceptionally loud music. There's going to most likely be a fight. So there's going to be lots of things which are sinful. So the other schools say that because of your action, which was to repair the boiler, it was directly linked to now people using the nightclub and committing all these sins. Therefore, the other schools would say that if your work is linked to something impermissible, then you come under assisting in sin and wrong, and you should refrain from that. However, in your particular case, it's not directly linked. That's the one thing. And secondly, the Hanafi school does separate each task out and says, analyze this solely from your specific act. Do not join your act with other acts, because then this is going to be always, because somewhere along the line, someone's going to be doing something which is wrong. Okay, so I hope that clarifies that query. Let me just see if there's anything that's come on the ladies group. So we have a Markaz Lifta wal Qada for gents, and we have a Markaz Lifta wal Qada for ladies. No, I think there was something I read somewhere. So, wrong Wrong application. Where did I see that? Trying to remember where I saw that. Just give me a second. I saw it somewhere. Well, you don't have to give me a second. You please do put your questions up. So one question which has come on the Sisters Markaz al-Ifta wal Qada, which is, I asked this question after some confusion I read about a valid transaction. I asked a person if they want to buy an item which was mentioned and showed them how much I bought it for on my online receipt and asked them to let me know. They said something like, I'm okay with that, or I will get that. I can't recall the exact words. There was no mention of when payment will be made. Then, after I went home, got the item and gave it to the person who started using it. And I was thinking when and if I will get paid. A bit strange that you entered into a transaction and you did not agree whether the person was going to pay you and when they were going to pay you. I typed the question I typed the questions, is the item mentioned okay? And are you okay with the price? The person said yes or nodded and said they will pay me later. So therefore, you've got some understanding of when they're going to pay you. Later on, they said, can they pay now? And I said later. After hours of using the item, the person, when paying, didn't have the correct change. So I took some money from them and asked them to pay me the rest later. The rest of the money is still to be given. Was this sale valid? I guess so. It's a bit of a strange way to do business, but I guess so. I think sister, you've got to stop overthinking things, mashallah, because all you're doing is leaving yourself in a whiz where you're not sure what's going on, what's not going on. Okay, so any further questions, please, folks? So, oh yeah, there was one other question, and that other question was, what is the Zakatul Fitr for UK this year? The Zakatul Fitr for UK this year is at minimum £3.50. Obviously, you can go for more. If you want to give your Zakatul Fitr in the value of dates, then it's considerably more. So we will, over the next day or two, update the Wifaq al-Ulama page, which will have the values on there, inshallah. So please do be patient with us. But because some people have already asked, it came on our Markaz Lifta wal Qadha question as well. So hence the reason I'm answering the minimum. And therefore, it is something to bear in mind. Was the Prophet's grandfather a Muslim? Allahu A'lam. I think with things like this, Haris, because obviously one is it does not benefit us, and also we know if I was to say certain things, it will cause offense to the Prophet ﷺ. It will naturally upset the Prophet ﷺ. So when there's nothing to gain from these type of conjectural points, whatever, then it's best to refrain from it. It's not a question that is something that we're going to be asked. I don't know what's happening with my phone at the moment. It just keeps blanking out for some reason. Let's see if that works. So it's not something that we should preoccupy our time with. Far better if we spend time knowing the seerah and who the Prophet ﷺ was, what he did, what he stood for. I think that will be more useful, inshallah. Give a few minutes for more questions to come in, inshallah, before I decide to. Okay, so it seems as though all people's needs have been met. So, as I said, I'll give another 30 seconds or a minute in case there's a burning question that folk have. If not, then we can wrap up for today, inshallah, and then be back same time tomorrow, 7 p.m. or thereabouts, inshallah, um, for the Fiqh Hour, and on the usual platforms, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Insta. As I do say, and I did at the start, please do share the videos with others and also invite others to join in. So at least they understand their deen better, especially as we approach Ramadan, inshallah. So on that note, wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is there any place these questions are being centralized so we can find them? That is the aim, Harris. That is the aim. I don't know if you get chance to look at the videos after. So, like for example, I think yesterday's is getting done, but the one before, or the Friday, the Thursday, you'll see that they've been sort of fragmented based on the questions, and you can find it. There's timestamps, so you can find the question that you want. So that will be absolutely fine as well to locate it that way. But the chaps, the IT guys, they're brainstorming away. And eventually, inshallah, the aim is that we have a catalog of these little videos split into little bits, and then you can actually search it and you find it. So that is the aim, inshallah. Make dua. As I said, it's a lot of work. We're trying our best to accommodate, inshallah. Would you be able to do a session about Fiqh of Ramadan according to Hanafi? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think what we can do is what we are now, 19th of Feb. We're still about 3 weeks away. So how about we maybe look at next week sometime and schedule it in next week, or maybe the week after. I think maybe a week before Ramadan or something. That might be a useful time to do it. So then we can actually have a fixed time and go through that. So yeah, that's a good idea, sister. But do remind me so it doesn't slip my mind, inshallah. Not that I will, but it's something to keep in mind. Excellent. Till tomorrow then, people. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.